morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the midweek edition of Viewpoint, the conversation on the rock station, Solid 100.9 FM. Viewpoint, the conversation, is the place where we raise topical socio-political issues and, of course, give you an opportunity to express your opinion about the issue raised. The internet went agog when the news of the demise of celebrated, decorated, and anointed gospel music minister Osinachi flooded social media platforms. Osinachi's death was announced on Friday night, the 8th of April, when it was later alleged that the singer died in the hospital after suffering domestic violence from her husband. Osinachi's sister, who is the first daughter of the family and was identified as Miss Favor, told Vanguard on Sunday that Osinachi died as a result of a cluster of blood in the chest from the kicking she got from her husband, Mr. Peter Nwachukwu. All this while, he has been beating her, but her sister hides all that she was passing through from them. She said the family had advised Osinachi to leave the marriage, but she prayed that God will change her husband. We told her, in her words, that they are not divorcing and that is just separation, but she felt that God is against divorce. We told her that separation is not a sin, but just for her to stay alive and take care of her children, but she will always tell us to relax and that the man will change. So when the man kicked her in the chest, she fell down and he took her to the hospital. He did not even tell us. It was a friend who lives in Ebonyi State that called her twin sister to ask if her sister told her that Peter hit her on the chest. The sister then told her no. It was the hitting in the chest that killed her. My brother had to ask the doctor what killed her, and the doctor said that there were clusters of blood on her chest. Osinachi's sister further revealed that the doctor was not aware that Osinachi was kicked in the chest. She also confirmed that he beat her sister severely and was fond of collecting her money while she is left with nothing. Her sister added that Peter did not contact their family when Osinachi died until 8 p.m. when he casually informed their mother of the death. The ordeal of Osinachi is one too many. No one deserves to be treated violently or killed, especially by the very ones who should shield and protect the ones they claim to love. There has been narrative upon narrative about the dastardly and harrowing experiences she went through before she bowed to the cool hands of death. What is worrisome about these narratives is that in most cases they miss out the real issues. Secondly, when they miss them, they also fail to address them. There is probably another Osinachi dying somewhere else this very minute. How do we stop this from continuing? The statistics of spousal death and of domestic violence appears grossly underreported. And was it just her husband that killed her? Osinachi was not just killed by her husband, she was killed by all of us, by fake religious standards about marriage that has killed more Christians than the imaginary devil will ever kill, by a culture and society that normalizes the abnormal, that beats you yet forbids you to cry out. Uche Gabriel is my name. This is The Viewpoint, is the conversation. Joining me this morning is someone who is going to be bringing the human rights angle to this discussion. He's a man synonymous with human rights and who has been at the forefront of the fight to entrench human rights into the consciousness and mainstream of society. He's the National Coordinator, Human Rights Volunteer Co. Larry Oguego, good to have you.
Good morning, good morning, Uche. It's I wanted to say it's my pleasure to be here, but on this occasion, it's not something nice that we're going to talk about. But I still appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. It's a death too many, and it's good that we really don't just talk about it. But I hope that after the hysteria, all of us will do something to stop this madness.
Now, I am trying so hard so we don't miss out the real issues. So for you, Larry, what are the real issues in this incident?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is a very important question. What are the real issues? For most of us, what stares us in the face is the death of Osinachi. But for me, what stares me in the face is the fact that we live in a society where we've come to consider it very normal for several Osinachis to die, and we still don't take any action. I told someone just yesterday that we are talking about this because Osinachi is a star. There are several Osinachis that have died. I know many of them because by virtue of my involvement with human rights, I get several Osinachi reports. And the real issues actually revolve around the fact that not only do we condone the kind of thing that happened to Osinachi consistently, the big issue is that we have actually reached a stage where the Osinachis themselves actually condone what happens to them. We need to get to the bottom of this particular problem, because if we don't solve the problem of our belief system, where we believe consciously and then more importantly subconsciously that one should take the vow that they take during the marriage. I mean, some people don't want to talk about the literal side of the vow anymore, as in whatever happens, you stay there. The point is that we've reached a stage where we actually condone what happens to us because of our perceptions, our subconscious belief systems, and then at the end of the day, when the Osinachis die, we cry and shout for a few weeks, and then we forget and go back to our default mindset. Default because it's something that has been happening for a long time. Some people even believe that it's appropriate for a man to beat a woman as a method of discipline. We preach against these things in church, but unfortunately, even some ministers of God beat up their wives. I mean, some of these incidents are in public domain. Political leaders beat their wives, and we know business moguls beat their wives. And when you come to discuss these things, people generally just apologize, tell the wife to leave it to God, pray that God is an amazing God. God doesn't change people who don't want to change. And when you pray that somebody should change, if the person doesn't want to change, you should take some steps to protect yourself. So I think the real issue is the fact that society actually inadvertently encourage people like Mr. Nwachukwu to kill the Osinachis of the world. That is the fundamental issue, not just the real issue. We inadvertently, without knowing it, encourage them because there are so many ways we can stop them. But because we give that impression that it's okay to just stay there, most women stay. They know they will be judged if they leave. But another real issue we must talk about is the fact that we don't fight for what we believe. It looks as if Osinachi should be blamed for not heeding the advice of the siblings and the advisors. But who says they couldn't afford to hurt? Let me tell you something, you say. The enforcement of fundamental human rights laws in Nigeria permits you to enforce the rights of another person.
All right.
That's number one.
We'll come back to that.